So we're out here at the Greaves Cotton and now Ampere production plant to test ride this, the new Ampere Primus electric scooter. Now if you recall, back in 2023 at the Auto Expo, at the beginning of the year, this was one of the scooters that was showcased and we did cover that. So we're not going to do a walk around, we are finally going to have a first hand or first impression ride experience. So without wasting any more time, let's check out what the Primus is all about.
In terms of its design, the Primus does look a bit dated and is definitely not as radical looking as some of the other e-scooters that have and will come out later this year. It does feature an LED headlight and a DRL strip under it, but it doesn't really stand out aesthetically, well, not as much as you'd like it to. It's got halogen indicators at both ends and a taillight design which doesn't look very exciting but is functional nonetheless. Overall, the scooter does look neat and tidy, and I quite like it. Standing still, the Primus looks like any other IC scooter, well, if it weren't for the lack of an exhaust muffler. But it does get a slightly gaudy looking panel in place of that, which hides the motor controller. It does stick out like a sore thumb from an otherwise very sleek scooter design theme. The Primus does link up to your phone via Bluetooth, and this gives you access to a host of data on your scooter and rides. But unlike most modern e-scooters of today, well, there's no vibrant touchscreen or TFT display here though. And instead, you get a rather simple looking LCD screen with all the regular ride information you need. Although it was a bit difficult to read at certain times of the day, my biggest problem with this display was the fact that the single trip meter, well, it cannot be reset manually, and instead automatically resets every time the scooter is turned off and on. Yes, the Primus does miss out on stuff like digital storage space and OTA updates, but you do get turn-by-turn navigation, just as you do with certain modern ICE scooter model. And you also have 3 ride modes that alter the way the Primus performs: Eco, City and Power. Now the Primus houses a fixed 3 kWh LFP battery which powers a mid-mounted motor, and this motor is capable of producing 4 kilowatts of peak power. Yes, the setup isn't as good as some of the established rivals out here, but then again the Primus is still said to be capable of a range of 107 kilometers out on the road in eco mode, while it is said to take about 5 hours to charge the battery to 100% using the 15 amp charger, but we are yet to verify both these claims. The Primus boasts a decent amount of ground clearance as well, but its floorboard is a bit high in relation to the seat, which is of conventional height. So that basically means the taller you are, the closer your knees are going to be to the handlebar, and it's most likely to be a little uncomfortable. Otherwise, the Primus is a very mighty, comfortable scooter to potter around town on. Its 12-inch wheels, the 1400mm wheelbase provide a very pliant and confident ride. But this 130 kg scooter does feel slightly heavy at the bars in comparison to the other crop of modern e-scooters.
Well, in terms of ride quality, the Primus is a very comfortable scooter to be on. Although it has the longest wheelbase, the wheelbase is out here is around 1400mm. Well, that's longer than say the Ola, the Ather and even the TVS or the Chetak in fact. But yes, 12-inch wheels at both ends, the suspension holds up really nicely over broken surfaces, and the seat very nice, plush and accommodating over all sorts of terrain. But in terms of handling, well, there are a couple of shortcomings according to me, because, well, yeah, first and foremost, as you can see, the floorboard, well, it is quite high, which you would assume will give you a lot of leverage over rutted surfaces and broken patches, oddly shaped speed breakers, you name it. It will be good over those kind of tricky situations. But then again, once you really try to take a sharp turn or a U-turn, as you can see, the handlebar tends to hit my knee and it is a bit upsetting. You will have to keep your legs down or off the scooter when really taking a sharp turn or a U-turn on this one.
The suspension feels nice and robust, and it will handle most of the rough stuff that you're bound to encounter in and around the city. And once I was ready to test the upper echelons of speed on the scooter, which is at around 80 kmph, well, the telescopic fork up front and the preload adjustable twin springs at the rear kept things nice and pliant and very enjoyable through a series of bends. Downright performance is not the scooter's forte, and you will want to steer clear of your pals on the S1 Pros and Ather 450Xs looking for a sprint race. But in the right mode, the throttle response of the scooter is nowhere close to giving you that feeling of disappointment. Acceleration is smooth and linear, and its throttle transitions aren't choppy even in power mode. Getting to 40 kmph takes a claimed 4.2 seconds, and it took a fairly decent stretch of Ranipet highway for me to push the scooter's speed up to an indicated 85 km per hour in power mode. Overtakes at around 40 to 50 kmph are manageable, and anything faster but obviously will require better calculation and planning. The Primus does come with CBS, which is combined braking, but strangely it is also one of the few modern day e-scooters that doesn't feature a disc brake up front, and this does limit the scooter's performance in some way, given the lack of ABS. You do have the option of slapping on a couple of add-on extras onto this scooter like a center stand and a brake lock lever, but still no front disc brake, not even as an option. So what does the Ampere Primus bring to the two-wheeler EV table in the end? Now, to begin with, it's a scooter that's good with storage space all around, especially that accommodating seat with the 22-litre storage bay underneath it. The throttle feels nice and responsive, even up gradients, and there's a decent amount of features including a USB socket that's almost out of sight in the storage area behind the apron. Now, although its switchgear could have been better, I still think that the Primus manages to tick just enough boxes for you to be content with over the course of time. The Ampere definitely comes across as a well thought through and put together scooter overall, but I would have liked to see a bit more features on the scooter, especially given its asking price, which is in excess of 1 lakh rupees on road. Now, the cost might seem like a bit much at first, especially for a scooter that doesn't boast a lot of standout features, but what you get for that money is a scooter that feels built to last from one of the oldest Indian companies in the world, that's assuring you of service if and when you need it. The problem that I see the Primus facing today is the fact that yes, there are other tried and tested e-scooters available today which offer a lot more in terms of features for an additional cost, but that's the price that customers in this space won't mind shelling out for, given the high levels of quality on offer.